Quantum mechanics tell us that stupidons are particles that can travel along, transform from, or get created spontaneously from the photons of the red lights that comes from the car's brake lights. Just like photons get emitted spontaneously from electrons, when the electron hit a vertex when traveling through its propagator line from one space-time point to another. So the reason a poor idiot can't stop when the rest of the traffic does and ends up ramming the car in front of him could be that a sudden attack of trillions of stupidons came out of the brake lights of all the cars around him or in front of him and concentrated in him like a lightning bolt, sometimes randomly hits a person. There's no logic when a person is hit by a discharge of electricity coming from the above. It could happen at any time to any of us. Don't be so hard to criticize and judge another person immediately as, oh, he's an idiot. He's just a victim of a sudden burst of a powerful, fundamental force of the universe. This effect could be worse if the stupidons came from the blue and red blinking lights of a police car or ambulance, since red and blue are the opposites in both extremes or the visible light spectrum, and such an alternation creates interference in bandwidth that can cause extreme dizziness in idiots affected by this phenomenon. When this happens, the majority of normally idiot drivers get real stupid because of the tremendous amount of stupidons that are inviting them. And that explains why highways get backed up with traffic for hours, for miles, with no visible explanation other than the presence of blinking red and blue lights. We've seen it. You just park a police car in the side of the highway and you get like 20 miles of cars slowing down for hours. Another example of stupidon transformation would be when it rains. Apparently, gazillions of stupidons get released from water, H2O, when the rain that hits the pavement following the principle of propagation of stupidity. Massive particles of hydrogen and oxygen get transformed into massless stupidons because we immediately notice the huge amount of accidents as soon as little rains start falling. So stupidons, besides being able to exist in several places at the same time and transform from photons that are massless light particles or massive water particles, can also transform from sound waves, big time. Thanks to the duality nature of subatomic particles that can behave as a particle or a wave, we just have to honk for half a nanosecond at the idiot in front of us to immediately see him open his window and extend his arm to give us the finger, or following the principle of correspondence of stupidity. Thanks to him being bathed by trillion and trillion stupidons per second with the sound waves of the honk. Honk for a little longer and you can even send him straight to the dark side of stupidity, thanks to a phenomenon explained in the perturbation theory, which says that perhaps because the stupidons inviting him are perturbing his stupidity according to the law of entropy increase, better known as the second law of thermodynamics. In some cases, both idiots are in danger of falling into the realm of the uncertainty principle, in which nobody knows what could happen and if things are going to take a fatal turn because of new acting forces covered by the superposition principle that explains what could happen when stupidons from one idiot suddenly split and interact in the brain of a second idiot without first leaving the brain of the first dumbass. Yes, we already mentioned the quantum physics tells us that subatomic particles like stupidons can exist in two places at the same time, duplicating in both persons the number of stupidons, but always following the principle of conservation of stupidity, which is unalterable. This is just a small example of how powerful the S theory is in explaining all of life's mysteries and resolving all paradoxes of the universe, even the ones we deal in our daily experience that interact with reality. This is a much better real-life example of the quantum world workings that the stupid two-slit experiment many physicists use to develop quantum mechanics. Thank you very much.